Me. Me. No, that's not what I want. Okay. Turn around. Me. Good morning. It is Thanksgiving, 2023. It can only mean one thing for a lot of people. It means it's time for a turkey trot. Cooking a turkey, smoking a turkey, deep frying a turkey. These two turkeys wanted to be in the gym with me today. That'll last about 10 minutes while it warms up in here. We're gonna go back out in the cold for sure. But for me today, right now, before I get to making that turkey, I'm doing a leg day. So, pretty pumped. It's gonna be a good leg day. We're gonna do some pendulum squats, leg extensions like girls, hip adductions. Nothing too crazy. The pendulum squat's a little crazy, actually. That's definitely not a standard movement. But let's get right into it. Got to get this done so we can go do some cardio and then go smoke a turkey. You know, I just love doing hamstring movements first in my workouts. I love the warm-up it can provide for the whole leg, warming up the joint and the muscles and everything. And I find that it really just gets you ready for the squats to come or whatever other leg exercises you're doing. It really just wakes everything up and gets it ready to move. As predicted, the dog's left. Too warm for him. 57 degrees. All right, feeling pretty good, warmed up there. I hit this first set in just about a minute here. It's interesting to me how the dogs, they want to be in here so bad. They want to just hang out. They love hanging out in the gym with me and coming out. It's just part of their routine at this point to come out first thing in the morning. But in the winter especially, when I close the garage doors completely and turn on the heaters, they get a little stir crazy. They want to be able to run around and wrestle with each other for 10 minutes at a time and then go sleep again. But it's funny to me how they quickly develop that preference of, I'd rather be outside where it's like 30 degrees. Those dogs are trail rated down to like negative 70 Fahrenheit, I believe, which is nuts. So outside in the winter, that's their comfort time. And if anything, it's still a little warm most of the time. They definitely want to be outside as much as possible. And you got to appreciate something that has a preference that strong and just knows, hey, I love you, I want to hang out with you. There's nowhere I want to be more than with you, but I want to be out in the cold. I just realized I completely miscounted that set. I only did 8, not 10. I don't know how I did that. It's funny though, we developed those preferences in the gym though too. There's tons of different exercises you can do for all the various muscle groups. In the home gym, it's a little bit more limited as to what my options might be, but I've developed somewhat of a variety for most muscle groups. Hamstrings are probably the one exercise from a tool standpoint that I have the least of. But even though we've got all these things, we develop these preferences and we develop these wants for ourselves as to how we want to train that muscle for that day. Now, what's interesting about those wants is we have to be very cautious and aware of what those are exactly and why we're wanting that particular exercise or that particular thing outside of the gym. In the gym, it could be a way for us to avoid an exercise that we probably need to work on more than we realize. Oftentimes, when we really don't want to do something in the gym, we're not looking forward to it, dreading it, or even really just coming up with excuses as to why we aren't going to do it, shouldn't do it, don't want to do it. It's usually a symptom of us knowing subconsciously or consciously that we're weaker at that and we don't like that. But the only way that we're going to get stronger is if we actually put the time and effort and energy towards training it, practicing it, actually doing it versus avoiding it, avoiding the responsibility, the work, the hard effort that's going to be required to get it done. Nothing's given to us, nothing's granted. But you know what we'll find most of the time is that if we do put in the effort, if we do put in a little bit of time, we can make some pretty dramatic and drastic results in a relatively short amount of time. And relative is going to be different for everyone, but if you practice something for even a week or two, you're going to be able to make some pretty drastic results and changes in that time frame. It's not going to be easy. You're really going to have to pay attention to your body, what's working and what's not, and make those adjustments so that it works as optimally as possible for you. But it's not that hard. It's not as hard as we think it might be usually. We're just afraid to fail. But failing is a part of life and a part of what we need to do in order to actually make some measurable progress most of the time. All right. Let's set up for the leg extension later. Let's do some hip adductions. Yeah. Such an interesting exercise as I find myself wanting to do more weight because it doesn't feel like it's heavy enough, but at the same time these adductors probably can't handle too much more weight. Not a very large muscle. We got 25 on there right now on the pulleys, so I'm not going to add anything more on there. It's really easy just to kind of let the leg go. I've really got to be mindful of controlling both the eccentric and concentric portions of this movement. right, legs are feeling pretty warmed up. From a heat perspective, I might still keep the pants on though. It's still a little chilly in here. But we're throwing the knee sleeves on because we're going pretty heavy on these. And I want to get the most out of them that I can. I find especially in the winter time, the sleeves really help keep everything nice and warm and loose. It's not that it's tight, it's never really tight, but that extra cold, you know, I don't really like to take those kind of chances. I want to take care of my body. I want to be able to do this the rest of my life. So, put the sleeves on, change into some completely flat-soled shoes, and then we're gonna get these babies underway. Zeroing in here on the weight. Getting pretty close to where we want to be for 4 reps here. Here we go. That didn't do anything. We can do a little more than that. Yeah. Okay. You know, it can be hard to kind of zero in on that weight the first time you do an exercise. I feel like we were pretty close on that one, but I still had some reps in me. Probably not the true RPE 9 or 10 that I was hoping for, but that's okay. We're basically now gonna repeat the weight. We're pyramiding up in reps on this one. So we're gonna repeat the weight, about 320 pounds on there, and see how it feels for 6 reps. Because 4, I felt like I had a little bit more in me. And so with 1 set down at 4, couple minute break here, that next set should be tough but doable. In fact, I'm gonna go a little crazy here. I'm gonna put about 20 more pounds on there. I think what I absolutely want to do next time, this is an extra pull-up bar that I had for the rack, a fat pull-up bar, fat grip pull-up bar. I've got 2 regular grip pull-up bars on the rack. I don't use them both. I only use the one for pull-ups. So I think I'm going to swap out this fat grip bar for the one that I don't use, the regular pull-up bar, so that when I rig this up, I can have essentially a barbell-sized bar to place on my back. This big one's really thrown me off with placing it on my traps and shoulders. I tried putting the squat pad on there, and it rolled right off. Bar's too big for the pad, unfortunately. So right now it's just uncomfortable. I'm worried I'm focusing more on the thing on my back than I am on my legs, really pushing with my legs. We'll see on this next one. I think this will be a tough set, but we're gonna change that bar out for the next time we do these for sure. All right, again, we didn't really hit exactly what I was hoping to as far as RPE goes. It felt tough, but I didn't feel like I was at 9 or 10 right there. I was closer than I was on the last one. I bumped it up another 10 pounds. We're going for 8 this time. We were supposed to descend in weight on this one, on this pyramid, but we've just gone up every time, and that's okay. First time we're trying this out in this manner. So again, we're honing in on that weight. On this last set, like I said, I increased it by another 10 total pounds. So we're up to about 340, I believe. And I'm supposed to be going for 8 reps here. So I'm gonna go for 8 and then whatever else I got left. We're just gonna kill it on this set. We've got leg extensions next. So, you know, essentially whatever I leave on the table here, I'm gonna work my ass off to make up for on the leg extension. And I'm gonna try it with the belt. I think I did a pretty good job bracing on that last set, but I'm curious what kind of difference it'll make. You know, most of the pressure and the load should be off my back for this movement with the way it's moving, but I'm just curious. I'm curious how it'll affect it, if it'll help me at all, or if it really just doesn't do much at all. So we're gonna give the belt a go, see what happens here. Oh. All right. That was good. 340 for 12. It felt great. Just got to do something about that pressure on my shoulders. That's a big wide bar. It's a hard bar. And I just can't, I feel like with a barbell, it's not an issue. You know, you get that bar between your upper back, your traps, and when it's a regular barbell, it feels fine. This, I'm imagining it's 2-inch wide bar. Whole different ball game. So next time we do this, we're definitely gonna have these bars swapped out so I can use a regular sized pull-up bar and see about getting that pad on there. See if that helps at all. The belt, I think it helped a little bit. It felt a little bit more focused. Like I was worrying about one less thing, you know, subconsciously. My bracing, you kind of have that physical reminder that you are doing the right thing when you're pressing up against the wall of that belt. So that was nice. I'll probably keep doing that. All right, let's get this torn down and over to leg extensions. Oh yeah. All right, what a workout. Time to reflect and meditate a little bit here. You know, overall, it was a pretty darn good workout. I'm pleased with how everything went, and we learned a lot about pendulum squat, kind of where we need that weight to be to make it work best. But today's Thanksgiving. It is undoubtedly my favorite holiday for a number of reasons, the least of which is most certainly not the food. It's a great holiday to bring people together and reflect on the year behind almost, reflect on all the things you can be thankful for, the wins, the losses, any of that stuff. It's something I've realized we don't do enough of throughout the year. You know, in 2020, I went on a pretty big mission to be a lot more mindful, grateful, all that stuff. It has certainly paid dividends in that respect. I feel like the more I practice that, just like with lifting, you've got to practice your mindfulness, your gratitude, your meditation, so to speak. Because if you don't practice it, it's when you need it most that you won't be able to perform it. You can't only do it when things are bad or when things are tough, hard, difficult. You've got to do it all the time so that when things do get difficult, it's not an enormous stretch to actually call upon that and use it for your own benefit, for your own good. And so this year, I feel like I've done a lot of thinking on what I'm grateful for. And not thinking and like trying to find the answer, but just, I've had so many of these moments this year, I haven't had to do thinking on, what I'm grateful for. I've been given the opportunity to be reminded of it so often. We have amazing friends and family, friends who are our family, and of course our families too, who have done so much with us, for us, who have experienced a lot with us at the same time. Many of us, I may have mentioned before, either on the podcast or in here, have had our first kid this year. And so there's so many of us who are on this journey together. And it's a pretty, truly incredible experience. Something that was very scary for me for a very long time. And yet here we are, just over for me and my wife, a year into it. It's been a great year. It's been a very hard year, very difficult year, very trying year, lots of ups and downs. And it's the thing I don't like about being a parent is that it's, the summary of being a parent is really big highs and really low lows. And I feel like we haven't even hit the really big highs yet. Our son isn't doing much at this point. However, he is moving about. He's expressive. He's a whole heck of a lot more fun than he was when he was first born. That's for sure. But that doesn't necessarily make it easy all the time. If he could just tell me that he was just really wanting a banana and that's why he was fussing right now, that would be great. But at the same time, one thing I have reflected a lot on in the last year is how thankful I am for our son and how easy he is in comparison to some of these other kids. We know parents and we hear the stories of parents who seem, and by their accounts, have it a lot harder than we do. And I am thankful that we don't have to go through that stuff, and I respect the hell out of them for being able to do that, because I don't know that I could deal with some of the stuff that they do. In our circle, our kids are very well behaved, easy enough, typical babies, None of them are far outside the spectrum of expected behaviors at this age, 1 and under basically. But we have each other when it does get tough, and we keep each other balanced. And so I'm thankful for my friends, my wife. I'm thankful for the lessons that we're all learning together. I'm thankful for how supportive they've all been in having a kid and beyond that. How supportive they are in this idea of starting a gym, starting a community. I'm thankful for all of that. I'm very thankful to have an amazing wife and partner in all of this. I'm thankful to have such an amazing friend and business partner in this gym venture with Austin. We complement each other well. Where one lacks, the other excels. But what we don't know, we're both willing to learn and try and work hard to achieve. And that's why we're starting this together. And I'm thankful for all of our other friends, though, too, who continue to push us and motivate us and not let us get down on ourselves, even in the hardest days. They're there to remind us that this fleeting moment won't last long. I'm thankful for my family and what they've taught me, what they've shown me, my work and what it provides for us, and what it allows me to provide for others in need of assistance. I'm thankful for this gym, that's for sure. Thankful for my dogs, my cats, my video games, for anybody still listening, I suppose. Thankful for all of that and a whole heck of a lot more.